Trump holds military parade as no King's protests are happening nationwide.
Trump's military parade through the nation's capital and the nationwide protests against his administration's policy.
I will hand it to the liberals one time, not protesting during the parade in DC was actually smart. I thought it would have been better to show, like, I was wrong. I'm ready to admit that. I thought it'd be better to like protest against the military parade as well. And I'm so glad they didn't do that because they didn't do that and they protested everywhere else in the country, there were tens of millions of people flowing through every fucking street in the United States of America, in every city and in even small towns and like deep red areas as well, while there was seemingly no one, and I mean no one, at the military parade. And as you guys know, we watched it. It was the biggest failed parade of all time. I don't understand how like the current American military marches so poorly. Like I'm not an anti-parade guy. I say all the time, like the two things that I actually do think are cool are just like ginormous statues and also military parades. Like I've talked about this before. I think military parades are kind of cool. Okay. And holy fuck, it is shocking how out of shape and out of step the American army was. It's so bad that I'm not necessarily like a libbed up kind of guy who would say like, oh, this is, this is their protest. Like they're not marching. They're not marching appropriately because they're protesting Trump. And I feel like that might be one alternative example, or like that might be a reason, because it was alarming how out of step they were. Like it just did not make any fucking sense whatsoever. They were just schlubbing it, dude. They were schlubbing it. And I don't know if it's because of the incompetence or if it's just like the army just being like, this is stupid. Like we don't want to do this for you for your birthday. Who the fuck do you think you are? It looked so deflated. It had, I think, the opposite purpose of why these countries normally, like much smaller countries, normally do this like demonstration, this show of force. Like the reason why they do these big military parades is because they want to show how mighty their military is. And it's ironic because like usually the less you use your military for actual war, the more you actually spend time on these marches. And I still thought that the American military would at least like show up. Nah, the first thing you learn is how to do in the military is march. This was intentional. No, I'm serious. Like it was. I know you're supposed. Don't you march like all the fucking time? Like you have to learn how to march appropriately. Like it's like one of those old school things that they. It's one of those like old school things that you're supposed to keep up with, right? It's shocking. Okay, but anyway, everyone is doing the same thing that I was doing yesterday on the stream where I was like, the military parade Trump thought he was getting. And then I superimposed yesterday while we were streaming, I showed you like the American military marching and then side by side with like the North Korean parades and the Chinese parades. And it was incredible. Like the disparity was alarming. Like, that's crazy. What is happening? What's up with our military, man? I thought this was the one thing that America, like, this is the thing that our tax dollars go to. This is the fucking thing. This is the thing that our tax dollars go to. What is happening? I thought this is like, y'all gonna learn why Americans don't have health care. Like, oh, Yemen about to learn why Americans don't have health care. Turns out they didn't learn shit. We don't have healthcare and the military can't even march. What the fuck is going on? No aura. Zero aura. What the hell? This one was so fun. He was holding up the drone because he's got like, what, 20 minutes of flying? So he's just like, yeah, the battery died on this one. The drone guy. Bro, what is going on? If there's one thing I thought our military would have an accessible stockpile of, it's oil, and yet, what? Oh, because of the squeaky wheels? Dude, I'm telling you. And it was fucking sponsored by Coinbase, and the UFC, and Form, Dana White's fuck-ass energy drink, and Palantir. Are you joking? And no one showed up? I can't begin to explain to you how perfect of a disaster this entire thing was, and how perfectly America in current day it all is. This spectacular humiliation of trying to do a demonstration of might while simultaneously failing on the optics front. It's a parade. It's the whole thing is optics, right? Like, before people say, well, our military is super powerful, like 800 military bases, shut the fuck up. It's like, all right, well then don't do a parade. You know what I mean? The whole point of it is optics. The whole point of the parade is optics. You can't just like do something for optics and then have it look this janky and then turn around and be like, well, you know, it's because we don't do optics. We just kill. And then don't do it. Like, I've never seen... It was such a flub. It was a great parade. It was a spectacular failure. Get the fuck out now. This is funny. Clearly, this was not a dictatorship example. You guys overhyped this with the King's BS law. Now you're trying to clean it up. Cry, bruh. You are not being honest. You are a useful idiot. I'm not being honest because this right here looks like shit. Like you are like, nah, keep coping, loser. Keep coping, liptard. This was actually awesome. It got my dick hard. I love seeing our boys in camo schlub it through the DC streets. Okay? That's right. Yeah, okay. If this wasn't so ass, then why is there so much cope? Jake, bro. Okay, people are genuinely confused why members of the U.S. Army can't actually march in unison like the Russians or North Koreans. The reason why is because all these soldiers have real jobs in the military and nobody beyond ceremonial units ever does any marching once out of basic training in their tech school. These soldiers spend their days doing important work to defend our nation. They don't ever practice marching. Trump demanded they all stop being productive at their jobs to waste time and taxpayer money to march in a parade for his amusement. This is weapons grade nuclear copium. Like, no one thinks this was good. Everyone, you can tell like how invested someone is on the Trump train. Like, you can tell how fucking insane someone is, how brain broken they are in the cult they are by the way that they're making an assessment over this parade, I guess. It's like looking at this and going, yeah, the fact that our military can't even march like a fucking middle school band is actually fine. Is really cool. They looked sick while doing this. If you feel that way, you are probably in the cult. You are in the cult. This person is a lib. Yes, this person is doing lib cope. Liberals also love the army. Liberals also love the military. Liberals also saw this humiliating display and were angry about it. After engaging with U.S. Army veterans in the comments, I think I might have issue correction here. These guys do/should know about how to march and could have if they wanted to. They probably just didn't care about this parade at all with zero effort. Okay, so you undermined your entire point that you were making in the top here. Okay, got it. Yeah, they do marching and parades during military school graduations. They definitely could have put together something that didn't look like shit. I'm starting to believe that Felix's "a few good men" theory is true, and the Joint Chiefs are all Chapo heads. Yeah, the great officers rebellion is almost about to take place. I don't know. I mean, it was so ass that I think like I can't believe this is so ass that I can't in good conscience believe that like these guys are simply that incompetent and they just were doing maybe a protest. Okay? Because if they're this bad, if they're this fucking incompetent, holy moly, is the most expensive military on the planet, dude. There is no comparison. There's no comparison. The very fact that we're having this much, pouring this much commentary into this conversation also is a indication that it failed as a parade. Like, it failed its primary purpose. Its primary purpose is to show how big dick and strong our military is. It had the exact opposite. It had the exact opposite reaction from most people. And the thing is, like, I like military parades. I think they're kind of cool. It's my least popular take in the left. Everybody always goes, "Oh, this is a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship." It's like, oh, whatever. It's like one of the things that a dictatorship does that's like kind of sick. Okay. That and big ass fucking statues. So the fact that we couldn't even do this shit pisses me off a little bit. Also, this was funny. Fox News brings in Rebecca Koffler to talk about the military parade, but she seems to be heavily intoxicated. So they cut away with the quickness. Let's take a look.
Now is former Defense Intel Agency officer Rebecca.
I'm gonna be honest with you, watching Fox News yesterday was so sad. It literally felt like watching Alan Lichtman, the 13 Keys guy, on the night of the election, where he was watching his career implode in spectacular fashion after months and months of propping up this like false theory that he had. It was kind of like that. They were just like, this is so sick. I am feeling so confident. I feel so good right now. This is hitting me at my heartstrings. Like, the American military is so mighty. Look at how cool this is. This is not a waste of time or resources. They just kept having, military historians come on the stream to be like, well, this cost taxpayers, $200 million, but it's actually a good use of resources because it really improves morale for the soldiers and it really makes the American military look good. It's like, dude, we're seeing it. It's like side by side. When you're saying that, you're superimposing that with images of dudes that are just like, fuck, I don't want to be here. They were like, no, this is going to be spectacular for recruitment. No, I don't think so. Unless the purpose of this was to say, hey, are you a regular ass, middle-aged couch potato? That's the job for you. The U.S. military is looking for people like you. Trust me on this. You do not have to do basic training. You do not have to be able to do a push-up. You don't even need to march in lockstep. Don't worry about it. We are now the mediocre military, okay?
Rebecca Koffler. Rebecca, what are your thoughts tonight on the incredible symbolism and the messaging that we saw here tonight from the Commander-in-Chief on the Army's 250th birthday?
I am so excited, Emily and Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody, like, this is incredible. Finally, the United States is back.
This is, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, maybe maybe we were wrong. You have to be that fucking zooted and be that shaky that it course corrects. When you watch our troops walking, trekking, bored out of their minds, shaking around, if you're also shaking, then it looks stable.
Want to really thank all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have been sacrificing their lives. Literally, their families have been contributing to the mission. Most of the time, for the past quarter of a century, because of the mismanagement of the administrative states, they've been fighting these foreign wars. But with our new in chief, Donald J. Trump, they are prioritizing America first. And I want to thank these officers for all of these sacrifices and all of the hardships that their families have been doing. Lawrence Jones, you are doing, you're rocking, man. Like, you guys are incredible. Lucas,
thank you.
I want to thank.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you, and thank you for your service too. Well, our final thoughts on this.
Oh, they cut her. They're like, she's a former intelligence person, and I don't know if it's CTE, Xanax, or a wombo combo of CTE, Xanax, and wine. But she is zooted out of her goddamn mind, dude. Her eyeballs were rolling around her head. All right, it's time for a week off for you, chatter.
Historic and patriotic celebration when we return.
Can't wait.
Check for the replies. Well, POTUS apparently encroaching on my airtime. My hit is moved to 8:20 to 8:30 p.m. depending on how long Trump takes. I'm honored refilling my champagne glass while waiting for my hit. She deleted that. Amazing. The lore behind this clip is pure cinema. Yeah. Amazing. Well, there you go. There you have it. Like down to the fucking stupid ass, down to the fucking stupid ads that they had. We are cooked. We're so cooked.
We have team coverage this morning. ABC's Alex Stone is live in Los Angeles. But we're going to start with ABC's Alex Perche, who joins us from Washington. Good morning to you, Alex. You were out there amidst all those protesters.
That's right, Janae. And it was quite the contrast between what played out on the National Mall, a parade of pomp and circumstance, and the many protests and some unrest across the country.
From Atlanta to Arlington to Albuquerque to Anaheim. 2,000 separate demonstrations this weekend in all 50 states. So-called No King's Day protest voicing opposition to President Trump's agenda and a joint birthday celebration he threw for the U.S. Army and himself. Many protests peaceful, but some erupting into chaos. Gunfire breaking out during a demonstration in Salt Lake City, Utah. Police rushing to help one victim in critical condition. Authorities taking one man into custody and saying there are no other known threats to the community. A motive under investigation. In Los Angeles, police used flashbangs to break up crowds outside federal buildings downtown. Protesters seen running to safety. Demonstrations in Minnesota canceled after that deadly targeted shooting of Democratic lawmakers. Authorities finding flyers for the protests in the suspect's vehicle. And in Charlotte, 2 protesters arrested for assaulting officers. Meanwhile, a stark contrast for President Trump's night, filled with pomp and circumstance in Washington. Commemorating the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army and his 79th birthday, culminating in a military parade along the National Mall. The first of its kind since 1991. The military estimates Saturday's parade cost as much as $45 million in taxpayer money.
Every other country celebrates their victories. It's about time America did too. That's what we're doing tonight.
But just outside the perimeter, thousands gathered to protest.
More than 1,000 people gathered at Logan Circle, now marching down towards the White House. But they felt passionate about being specifically here in D.C. peacefully to make sure that the White House hears their opposition.
President Trump told reporters last week protesters would be met with heavy force.
I am here today, here in D.C., is because he threatened us. Like, how crazy.
Roseanne Rodriguez is a veteran who served with the 82nd Airborne.
I have a right protected by the Constitution that says I can be out here.
Now, the White House later attempted to clarify, saying the president supports peaceful protests, but his comments were motivating factors for some to cancel.
I was at the No Kings protest waving my sign that said hands off NATO, hands on Iran. Was this a good message? I am an anti-war liberal after all, except for the current one, of course. Yeah, that seems like a good message. Thank you for staying on message, by the way. Finally, I'm really glad that someone is finally doing that. Like bravely taking a stance, one, against NATO, or defending NATO, and also against Iran. Our boy Kenneth came out with the numbers. You all asked how much the city of LA has spent so far related to the June protests against ICE. $11.4 million estimated preliminary costs through Friday. These mainly relate to the city's response, e.g. labor costs, followed by cleanup and damage costs. And of course, this does not even have payouts potentially for, murking, shooting at these protesters too. So this is just the initial cost. Isn't that fantastic? I feel protected. I love this. This is great. Great stuff overall, I think. Yeah, overtime, hazard pay, that kind of stuff,
Their D.C. events, notably, there were no reported arrests in Saturday's march.
Alex Perche, thank you. And one of the larger protests was in Los Angeles, where marchers, also angry over Trump immigration policies, clash with police. ABC's Alex Stone continues our team coverage. And Alex, you were there overnight when these demonstrations escalated.
Are you going to any protest today? There's 0% chance I'm going to protest today. I cannot walk. I was playing basketball earlier this morning, and the dude guarding me put his foot under me, and I landed on his foot. And I don't know how bad the ankle is, but I can't even step on it currently. So, which is crazy because is crazy. No, it wasn't Ted. That's a flagrant one. Yeah, I know. Boomer Bones. No, dude, it's like one of the fucking most classic, one of the worst injuries that you can get. It's like it's a flagrant foul for a reason. There's no recovery from it. There's nothing you can do. Like if he puts his foot as you're fucking coming down off of a shot and you step on his fucking foot and you roll it, there's not anything you can do. If you can't step on it, it's probably broken, big dog. No, that's fine. It's not broken.
Yeah, we were right in the middle of all of it. And overnight, the LAPD battling back crowds. The crowds grew during the day. They had been peaceful early on in the day, and then they became more violent at night. All day marchers made their way around the city. They were loud, but they were peaceful during the daytime. One estimate putting the crowd at 20,000 people filling the streets here. But the crowd really grew around the federal building, and at around 4 p.m., the LAPD saying officers were taking chunks of concrete, bottles, and rocks were being thrown at them. They moved in, clearing the streets. We were there as they were forcefully coming in, pushing back the crowds using...
Yeah, the officers claimed that, but was that the reality? Nope, that was not the reality. It's lame as hell that the narrative is still like this. The narrative still revolves around like how much the protesters are being violent and rarely ever addressing who is being violent, who is elevating, who is escalating, who is actually doing the violence. And it is never the protesters. It's the motherfuckers on the horses with the batons. It's the dudes deploying chemical weapons. Especially these protesters, the No Kings protesters, like they're not throwing shit at cops. What are you, crazy? We're not even having a conversation. We're not even having a conversation about like, you know, these guys are in riot gear and like getting hit with a fucking bottle or something is not like, if you think that getting hit with a bottle is devastating, with a water bottle is devastating when you're in riot gear, imagine getting shot in the fucking head with a rubber bullet with no protection while you are peacefully demonstrating. Which one is worse? The only reason why you think the one is illegal and totally fucked up and totally violent and unacceptable and the other is perfectly fine is because you're like, no, cops are supposed to do that. That's their job. Their job is to beat the shit out of us, which is weird because you're not a cop. You're not a politician. You're not a cop. You're not a wealthy person. You are a regular ass civilian. So if they do that to these people, they can do it to you as well. So it doesn't even make sense from a from any sort of like any sort of perspective where you want to defend yourself. Like you need to have a better better measure of your own self-worth, your own self-preservation. I don't get it. I don't get why people fucking do that. Incredibly stupid.
Using gas and less lethal rounds, firing them at protesters who would not leave. Late overnight, the LAPD again gained control of the streets around the federal building here. Once again, the curfew went into effect around 8 last night. And here at the federal building, Gio, this morning, the National Guard is here. The Marines have been out as well as they're protecting this building. Gio.
All right, Alex Stone, thank you so much for your reporting.
Two visions of
this side by side is crazy. This side by side is hilarious. God damn, son. Trump just kind of sitting there bored as the military marches on. Incredible stuff.
America. On a day the country's deepening divide was there for all the world to see. While Donald Trump paraded tanks and troops through Washington, D.C., hundreds of thousands took to the streets across the U.S. protesting the president's hard-right agenda. The slogan, "No Kings," the mood, defiant.
We will win! When we unite, we will win!
The largest crowds here in Los Angeles were Trump's immigration...
Oh yeah, here's Trump caught on a hot mic. I'm sorry for the Reddit link, but, you know, Trump caught on hot mic saying he wants his people to behave like North Koreans when he speaks.
Close to seeing Mr. Kim here at the White House?
Could happen. I mean,
they talked about that yesterday with Mike Pompeo?
Yeah, I think it's something that could happen. Yeah. Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he is the strong head.
Oh, this is from 2018? I don't remember this. Back when it popped off.
Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same.
Well, good luck getting Americans to do that in general, you know. Obviously, Trump is not even worthy of that kind of admiration to begin with. But I suspect that a president even worthy of that kind of admiration is not going to receive it from the American population. That clip is from 2018 is what chatters are informing me on. I mean, his attitude on that stuff hasn't changed at all, for the record. Like, he is still very much like that. I've talked about this before. He has like great respect and reverence for authoritarian strongmen. 100%. He likes them a lot. There are a couple ways that you can get on Trump's good side, even if you are an ideological enemy to him. Okay? If you're an authoritarian strongman, if you have like some semblance of charisma, even if you're like a socialist or whatever, and you are beloved by your population and they love you and they respect you, Trump will turn around and say you're a good person, or like he will glaze you straight up. The greatest example of this is Claudia Sheinbaum, and even AMLO. Trump liked AMLO. Trump loves Claudia Sheinbaum. He literally will say like, she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. I would go so far as to say that like Trump, even with like AOC, Trump shits on AOC, as you know, but nowhere near as aggressively as Fox News does. And I think it's partially because of her TV hits. Bernie Sanders is another great example. Bernie Sanders is Trump's perfect ideological enemy. Why the fuck does Trump say nice things about Bernie all the time? He'll sometimes be like, Bernie, he's crazy, he's loony, but he's got a lot of popularity. People love him, folks. Yeah, he loves Viktor Orban too. Yeah, he loves Viktor Orban because Viktor Orban is not necessarily charismatic, but authoritarian strongman. 7 minutes ago, Iranian intelligence chief killed in strikes. Reported the head of Iran's intelligence agency and this deputy was killed in Israeli strikes today. The state-owned. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to fucking Benjamin Netanyahu also begging for help. I'm going to get to the next round of assassinations from Israel in a second once these protests are over, once the protest coverage is over.
Crackdown and heavy-handed police tactics have sparked a huge backlash.
For the last 8 days, the people in Los Angeles have been out on the streets protesting. More than 800 people have been arrested. But today, thousands came out to the streets to show their
Latin American correspondent at the Los Angeles protest is so funny because he's like, normally his beat is doing this for like former authoritarian governments in like Latin America, where they do exactly this, beat the fuck out of like mass mobilized crowds. So it's funny to do that in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? It's funny to do that in America in general. He's like, the American government behaving exactly with the Brazilian military dictatorship.
Content of what they call the militarization of Los Angeles and the presence of immigration and customs enforcement in their communities. They say they will continue to protest.
He doesn't like Xi. He respects him perhaps, but he does not like the man. No, he loves... What? Are you insane? No, he loves Xi Jinping. Are you kidding me? You have to listen to the way he talks about Nancy Pelosi or Adam Schiff or any number of like Democrats in the unpopular opposition that he has versus heads of state that he has great respect and admiration for. He has a tremendous amount of admiration for Xi Jinping. Are you joking? He loves Vladimir Putin. He loves Xi Jinping. Like, he thinks these guys are awesome. He straight up wants to be like them. Okay? I'm telling you right now, he would say that Erdogan too. Erdogan as well. He looks at those guys and he's like, why can't we have a similar structure of control?
Until they leave.
Unprecedented raids targeting undocumented workers, along with the decision to send in troops against the wishes of the state governor, have turned LA into the front line of anti-Trump.
He hates Newsom though? No. Dude, Trump has said incredibly nice things about Gavin Newsom in the past. This is a relatively new phenomena where he's like bouldering. He's always been uncharacteristically nice to Gavin Newsom. Trump hates Trudeau? Yeah, because he sees Trudeau as a weak, feckless lib. I'm willing to bet, depending on how Mark Carney's approach is and how popular he is, he might have even a very different relationship with Mark Carney as opposed to Trudeau. He sees Trudeau like Kamala Harris style liberal.
Sentiment. Is LA in the house? For people here, including this Democratic congressman, it's a battle for the soul of the nation.
We are going to make sure that people know that we're not giving up and we're not going away.
More tear gas, more arrests, but elsewhere demonstrations were largely peaceful. Meanwhile, this was the scene in DC, a military parade rolling through the streets of the capital for the first time in more than...
Is no one in mainstream media gonna say this fucking parade was ass? Like they're too scared? Is that what it is? Like they don't wanna disrespect the military? It was ass, bro. Like why are we... I mean, look at the fucking visuals, man. I'm sorry. You can't be like, this was a military parade, and then it's like a dude holding up a fucking drone walking.
In 3 decades. Organized to fall on Trump's 79th birthday, complete with robot dogs, the parade celebrated 250 years of the US Army. The main purpose, perhaps, to allow the president to project power and play to his base.
America stands tall, America stands proud, and America stands free. We're the hottest country in the world right now. And our country will soon be greater and stronger than ever before.
The parade, like so much of Trump's politics, has divided Americans. To his supporters, a long overdue celebration of military personnel. To his critics, more evidence of a slide towards authoritarianism.
I will obey the orders of the President of the United States.
This is a president, though, who's not afraid to anger his opponents. The question now, whether that anger can be contained.
To the urgent manhunt for...
There's something so strange about like commanding one of the most diverse militaries on the planet as like a outwardly racist administration. I can't get over that. I will never be able to get over that. It's like half the military's last name is like Rodriguez and Hernandez, and the administration is like, we got to get these Rodriguez's out of here. Like their primary focus is like literally trying to eradicate the Latino population of the country.